A very good morning I bid to my dearest supervisor, Dr. Zaira, and also my fellow friends. So today, I'm going to present my research proposal with the title Using Picture Puzzle to Improve Words Recognition Amongst Low Proficiency Year 4 Pupils Primary School through pair work. So this is content of my research proposal presentation. There are 5 main parts in this research proposal presentation. So the first 5 main part, which contain introduction, research focus, research objectives, research participant, also plan of action and implementation. So what do you know about a word? Actually, the concept of a word can be defined in 3 ways, which are form, meaning, and also use. So when teachers teach about words, it's actually to build up pupils' vocabulary, because words are actually very important to help the pupils to build up their vocabulary. And it will cause problems if the pupils cannot read the words aloud and also cannot understand the meaning of the words, because they don't know how actually the meaning of the words, which cause them cannot understand the whole sentences properly. And word recognition is important because in order for a child to develop his or her vocabulary, the child need to be able to use the word confidently. And according to McPherson 2015, word recognition is the ability of a learner to recognize the words accurately. So the word recognition is actually the process whereby the child start to learn to identify the words and also the words part. So I went to SJK for my practicum and teach year 2 and year 4 for English. The year 4 class will mix up with the high and low proficiency pupils. So in my class, I can see that the pupils with good attitude and family background show more focus in the English lesson. This is because, according to Lee and Chiu 2018, family gives a deep impact on children's learning behavior and also the academic achievement. We can see that the family actually give a direct impact to the students' learning. And for the low proficiency pupils that did not enjoy the English lesson as they found it hard to understand and learn. Due to their weak in word recognition, they did not enjoy themselves in the lesson. So I conducted a lesson on vocabulary to my year 4 pupils. The low proficient pupils actually did not even know what is the meaning of those words were. For example, I showed them the word playground. They actually cannot understand what is the meaning of a playground. They know that this is PLAYGROUND playground. And then they had difficulties in learning English words. And they did not know how to use the word correctly. And they actually can only recognize the words but cannot understand the meaning of the words. So this often causes the pupils lost interest in my lesson. Besides that, as a teacher, I have to give extra guidance and care to those weak pupils. And I also use pictures to help them to understand the words better. So I need to give extra guidance and care to those students, and then I have to give extra and simple explanation in order to let the pupils to work on the worksheet. So when it comes to difficult words, I have to use pictures to help them to understand the words better. So from that, I can realize that my pupils actually can learn better with the help of a picture. So in the next lesson, I use picture to guide them in completing the worksheet that I wanted to teach about the vocabulary. So actually the pictures help them to understand easily, and I realized that my pupils are actually not really that weak, as they can learn better through pictures. So the colorful pictures make them remember and understand the meaning of the words better. For example, when I show the word playground and I show the picture of a playground, actually they can relate the words and the pictures together. So according to Gardner's theory, people who prefer visual spatial intelligence are good at visualizing things, and I realized that different pupils have different learning styles, and pictures actually help the pupils to have the ability to imagine or visualize something about the words. For preliminary investigation, for the first one, I will use diagnostic test. This is to test the pupils' proficiency, and I will prepare the test to test their word recognition. So for the second method, observation during teaching and learning process, I need to observe how the teacher teach in the lesson and know about people's learning and how they behave when they are given pair work, because I need them to learn through their pair. So the third one, interview with teacher. I need to get the pupils' information in the class and get to know the family background of pupils, their proficiency level, and the teaching methods that teacher use in the lesson. Next, we proceed to research focus. For the practicability, the words used in this research are taken from the latest CFR English textbook, and I will use some papers and pictures to produce the pictures, puzzle, and also the word cards to make sure that they actually can learn the words from the textbook. And the cost and materials to produce this intervention is actually easy and affordable for me, but it really takes time to produce the intervention because I need to find the pictures of the words, and I need to modify, and I need to produce a picture puzzle template, and I need to to make sure that the size are actually suit to the pupils. So for the relevant to school, it's actually one of my main considerations. It's important for me to solve my problem in teaching the words to the low proficiency pupils, because there are so many words that the pupils need to learn in their English textbook. So the pupil needs to master the words to follow up to the lesson planned by the teachers. And I believe that the picture puzzle that I produce can be used as a teaching aid for the teachers in the lesson to help those low proficiency pupils. For the significance, it is significant for me to carry out this research because it will improve pupils' ability to recognize the words by using the picture puzzles, and it will sharpen the ability to understand the words. And besides that, it will also improve their social skills as they need to work with their partners in pair. Therefore, it's actually very significant to carry out this research, as it helps to improve their word recognition through pair work. When they can understand the words better, it actually helps them to build up their vocabulary. And when they have enough vocabulary, they can actually convey themselves in a spoken or even the written language. So this is the action research model that I will use in this research proposal, which is by Stephen Chemis. So for the action research model by Stephen Chemis, there are 4 circles in this action model, which are plan, action, observe, and also the reflect. So there is another stage called revise plan, which means that if the problem cannot be solved from the first plan, the first 4 cycles, the revised plan will be revised and also to help to solve the problem completely. So just now I have said that there are 4 main cycles in this action research model, which designed by chemists. So for the first one, plan stage, I will need to find out the problem based on my practical experience, which is from my teaching and learning experience through my practicum. And I need to plan on the intervention to overcome the problem, and the data need to be identified and collected. And for the second one, action stage, the picture puzzle is proposed to overcome the problem because I need to solve the problem based by using my intervention. So for the third one, observe I need to observe pupils' improvement and also their behavior in the lesson, and the pupils will be assessed through a pre-test and also the post-test. And for the next stage, reflect stage, I will need to reflect and interpret all the data and the results that I collected. And I need to analyze and also the synthesize the data. And I need to reflect and interpret all the data and results that I have collected. And for the revised plan, It will take place when a modification is needed. The research objectives The objective of this research is to find out the effectiveness of using picture puzzle to improve words recognition amongst low proficiency Year 4 pupils primary school through pair work. So there are two research questions in this research proposal. For the first question, does picture puzzle improve words recognition amongst low proficiency Year 4 pupils primary school through pair work? And the second research question, how does picture puzzle improve words recognition amongst low proficiency Year 4 pupils primary school through pair work? So for the research participants, in this research, the targeted participants will be chosen from HKC and the Year 4 pupils. So the school is located in Cheras, Kuala Lumpur. And the diagnostic test will be given to assess pupils' proficiency. And the participant will be chosen based on the diagnostic test that I provided. And pupils who have low proficiency in English will be chosen. And the pupils who fail to reach the passing marks will be the research participants. So the pupils who have low proficiency in English will be chosen to see the effectiveness of using picture puzzle to improve word recognition among them. For the plan of action and also the implementation, the intervention that I use is the picture puzzle to improve the word recognition amongst the low proficiency Year 4 pupils primary school through pair work. So for the first theory that I use in this research is Vygotsky's social cultural theory. Vygotsky 1896 stated that pupils learn through social process with their peers or friends. So the pupils learn and cooperate with their friends during the learning process. The pupils can learn the word recognition together with the intervention, and they can learn it with their peers. So it's like they can help each other during the learning process. And for the second theory, it is the scaffolding theory. According to Stuft 2002, teachers provide scaffold to the pupils by using pictures when teaching the words. In scaffolding, instruction a more knowledgeable either provides scaffolds or supports to facilitate the learner's development. So in this research, the teacher will scaffold the students by using a picture when the teacher wants to teach about a vocabulary. For example, when the teacher wants to teach a word like car, so the teacher will show a picture of a car, and it will somehow teach people to relate the car, the words, and with the picture of a car. So it's actually how the teacher scaffold a student from learning the word. So there are three data collection methods that were used in this research. For the first one, pre-test and post-test, observation checklist, and also the questionnaire. So this is the action research model by Stephen Camis that were used in this research. So for the first stage is the planning stage. I need to identify the teaching problem which has become my research focus and decide the action taken. This is because I need to like plan an intervention to help me to overcome the problem that I encounter in my teaching process. So I will need to identify the problems through my observation during teaching and learning process and interview with the English teacher of the class. And the picture puzzle is proposed as is ensure that the research to be logical and also ethical, and I will use the diagnostic test to identify and find out the problem in their learning. Now we proceed to the action stage. I will choose some words from the Year 4 English textbook, the Year 4 CEFR, the latest English textbook, and I'll make it into the pictures puzzle. So for example, I will teach a word on omelette. So I will need to find a picture of omelette and make it into the picture puzzles. And after that, I will divide the pupils into pairs as the research require them to learn through pair work. And I will teach and explain the words to be taught in a session. For example, I will be teaching about 5 words in this lesson, in this session. So I'll need to teach and scaffold the students in the session. Then after that, the pupils need to combine the picture puzzle into one and find the correct word card for it. So after the pupils have complete the picture puzzle, they need to find the word card that suits to the picture puzzle. And after that, I'll distribute the worksheet to them and they need to work individually. They will learn in pair work, but when it comes to the worksheet, they will need to complete the worksheet individually. For the third stage, observe stage. So in this observe stage, there will be 3 data collection methods to be used to collect the data. So for the first data collection method, I will provide a pre-test and a post-test before and after the intervention conducted. This is to see the effectiveness of picture puzzle to improve their word recognition. And then after that, pupils' behavior and improvement will be assessed based on the observational checklist. And the third one, the questionnaire will be distributed to them to express their opinion on the picture puzzle. The questionnaire will distribute to the pupils as to as to get them to express their opinion and their idea about the intervention that I use. Next is the reflect stage. During this stage, I will have to analyze the data and reflect on the strength and weakness of my intervention. So based on the questionnaire that I distribute to the pupils, I can get their opinion and idea, so I can reflect the intervention based on my pupils' opinion and the idea. And I also need to synthesize the idea I've collected through the data collection method. And for the last one, revise plan, there will be another revise plan whereby the modification on the intervention will be made if necessary. If the intervention that I've created cannot actually help them to solve a problem, so I will need to do another revise plan to get to help them to solve the problem. For data collection method, I will be using 3 types of data collection method. For the first one, pre-test and post-test. A pre-test will be carried out to know the levels of the pupils. A post-test will be carried out after they are introduced and they have used the intervention. This is to see how much the intervention can improve the pupil's word recognition. For the second method, observation. An observation checklist will be designed and used during the observation session, and the observation will be carried out before and after conducting the intervention. This is to observe and identify their record, the learning behavior, and also the improvement. For the questionnaire, this is the easiest and quickest way to get the feedback from my research participant. It actually eases me to analyze the data as fast as I get the feedback. And in the questionnaire, it helped the participants who find that it's hard to convey through spoken or language to respond just by ticking strongly disagree until strongly agree. And for the data analysis procedure, based on Mouse 2014, data analysis can help to fully and accumulate, summarize, and represent the data that has been collected and the data interpretation to answer my research question. So this is how I will tabulate and analyze my pre-test and post-test result. A formula will be used to count the difference of result for pre-test and the post-test. So for the observation, I will get my practical mate to help with to observe the research participant together with me. This prevents from the bias from happening, and the data collected will be tabulated into a table to make the result clearer. And table below shows how I will present the data. And this observational checklist that I will use in my observation. So this is my questionnaire. I'll present the data collected in table form. And the questionnaires are important as it helps me to know the pupil's opinion after I conduct the intervention. The data will be analyzed in the table form and pie chart. See that I've used three types of data collection methods. Triangulation is a process of collaborating evidence from different types of data, different individuals and the method of collection. This is from Creswell 2014. And methodological triangulation is more beneficial by providing more comprehensive data, increase validity, and enhance the studied phenomenon. And this is the implementation schedule in my research proposal. So the pre-test will be carried out, and then after that, the teachers will also conduct intervention and divide pupils into pairs. So the teacher will carry out the session with the pupils and observe the students by using the observational check. And this will proceed to session 3 and session 4 also. And for the session 5, the post-test will be conducted, and session 6, questionnaire session with the pupils. And after that, I will need to analyze the result of the pre-test and also the post-test, and the result of the observational checklist and questionnaires. And for the last session, session 9, planning of cycle 2 if it's needed. This is the budget for my research. So the A4 paper in printed ink and also the laminator sheets will cost me around 115 ringgit. So the estimated budget for my study is 115 ringgit Malaysia, including the photocopy paper, worksheets and others. So the amount is affordable for me. These are my reference. That's all from me. Thank you.